Welcome to this episode of Startup with Poland, where we continue our deep dive into Poland's startup ecosystem and speak with some key players. My name is Tessa McIver, and I am your host. Now, my guest today is Efi Ben Artzy. For the last 20 years, Efi has been working both as a manager and a consultant in various companies in Israel, Europe, and the US. Efi has a diverse background in various industries. He is improving complex global operations and developing leaders and managers to achieve business growth and global expansion. Among others, Efi is a mentor in different startup programs around the world and works with startups from different industries to achieve innovation and better product development. He also mentors business angels on how to evaluate startups for successful investment and support companies in fundraising. So, Efi, wonderful to have you with us here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a great pleasure.
And the first question, why are you in Poland? What brought you to Poland? And why have you stayed so many years?
Well, first, I like the Polish weather better than the Israeli hot summer. That's the first. But on a serious note, I think Poland is uprising power in Europe quicker than any other country. And specifically in tech, it's going to be the next Silicon Valley. Just observe what is going on in real estate, other type of investments and tech. Definitely Poland is a growing superpower. It's even considered to be one of the greatest destinations for tourism nowadays in Europe.
Oh wow, I didn't know that statistic, but interesting to hear.
Business opportunities, safe place, operational costs are relatively cheaper than other places. Promising country and promising region.
Okay, well, great to hear that all the pluses that you found living here in Poland. But what do you think when you look at Israeli startups, which are obviously seen globally as really successful and in a way market leaders in some sense? What is the difference between Polish startups and Israeli startups from your observations?
Well, in order to answer this question, you have to look at the bigger picture. The Israeli army and the Israeli secret services are the biggest innovation hub, maybe in the world even, if you compare to US even. Because if you have to hack a computer in a distant country and implement some Trojan virus, and if you need to use AI to predict terrorist attack or terrorist behavior among people, it has no competition anywhere in the world. So you have to understand the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. You also have to understand that the Israeli startups are operating in an environment when the government are putting a lot of investments into the tech, when the connection between academia, business, and startups are really tight. You can find the Israeli Institute of Technology, for example, opening AI hub to attract scholars and both business leaders to grow the ecosystem. It has nothing similar in Poland, or it's changing, but it's not like in Israel. So the Israeli startups have advantage from the beginning. But I think that the answer is the growth and scale-up mindset. Israeli startups think globally from the beginning because Israel is a very small country, very small market. Yes, so they go straight to the US, straight to Europe from day one. While Polish founders don't think that way. They say, okay, let's perfect the product in Poland first and then do some market research and see where we can go 2 years from now. So the mindset is different. And also the usage of growth methodologies. Okay, Israeli startups from day one are implementing objective and key results and management systems. Some management practices they learn mostly in US or UK, but they implement it from day one, even in the idea phase. So this is something that Polish startups still need to implement and to learn. So this is the main differences.
But I know, you're a really big advocate of not only of Poland as a country, but also, of Polish startups and the Polish startup ecosystem. And what do you see as Poland's secret sauce? Of course, you've mentioned a lot of things that Polish startups maybe as a general rule are not yet doing, but what is special about them?
Well, think about the tech talent in Poland is brilliant. Virtual reality, augmented reality, AI, other tech, very brilliant people. Second, as we used to say in the Israeli services, they have a knife between their teeth and they're ready to charge. And I think the Polish, especially the young generation, is hungry for success and hungry to become great. So this is, I think, the core of the secret sauce. Other than that, it's one of the pivots now in Europe. The geopolitical situation, even foreign non-private sector investments, military investments, security investments. Poland considered to be a very important hub, very important point. So it's a growing market in any sense, and also GDP-wise, it's growing and growing. It's a huge market, more than 40 million people. I think this is the secret sauce, and also Polish people, with all the vacation, summer, and Christmas, they like to work hard. They work harder than any, or more than most of the European countries that I observed and I operated in. They don't have siesta. They do keep work-life balance, but they still work hard to grow both the country and their own business. So I think it's admirable. And Poland and Central Eastern Europe in general is just a big opportunity. It's the right place to be in.
Okay, so in a way we can summarize that there's the talent, it's the right time and place, and also there's the drive and sort of the work attitude that altogether those different elements really give the secret sauce to Polish startups.
Yes, definitely. And the post-Soviet regime, I think the phenomenon of becoming hungry for success, freedom in business is affecting everything as well.
Efi, I'm really interested in lean startup methodology, which I know that you're a big advocate of. Can you tell us a bit more what is lean startup, and why is it useful or indeed necessary for startups to follow this methodology to be successful?
Sure. First of all, lean startups is evolution of the lean practices that were developed by Toyota after World War II, made them the biggest car manufacturer in the world. Observed in the corridors of Harvard Business School, MIT in the 90s, both tool-wise and culture-wise. So the lean startup is evolution of those. It's a late evolution of the scientific thinking, Demian scientific thinking of the PDCA cycle. PDCA for our audience, plan, do, check, adjust, or study adjust, depends how you look at it. And this is a very good business framework. Not only for startups, by the way, but also for corporate innovation and general business ideation and creation. That gives you the framework to do the right things from the beginning. Starting to understand if you really solve a problem, a gap in reality or not. What is the right solution to connect to the problem. And how this solution going to be sold, from the pricing to how you get to your early adopters and your customers through the cost. So it gives you a framework to look at everything. And even in later stages, you can always come back to it and modify it. And I think that the thinking of not developing something, put a lot of investments into it, and then understand that nobody really needs your product. Nobody cares. You're not solving any problem. You just your imagination. I think it's preventing this. So you develop. Everybody knows you develop an MVP, and then you iterate and try to do the right thing. So I think this is the right framework to create any kind of business. And by the way, it can be a flower brand. It can be a tech startup. It doesn't matter the type of business. It's very relevant.
Well, I think, all of us have got many examples of startups who, jumped in passionately, and then it turns out that nobody wants their solution at all. It's not because the team isn't great or, there are many positive aspects, but simply there's no appetite on the market for the solution. So I suppose Lean Startup can really help with those situations.
True, and not only Lean in general, it's a management practice. It's a management, leadership, behavior even. It's highly connected to the Lean Startup because most of the startups are failing because of management issues. People think that 90% of the startups fail because lack of investments. It's not true. Only 14% of them are failing for that reason. And I can tell amazing stories of founders who lost their team, lost their product because of bad management practices. Some really crazy stories. And I think implementing Lean and know exactly where you're going and where you're not going, what to do, what not to do, I think it's crucial for startup success. That's why I always advocate to use objective and key results and KPI and management systems and hiring and firing the right way. And leadership practices in the right way from day one. My own personal experience was working for a division of Hewlett Packard. Used to be a startup in the 2000 something of 10 people. Grew up to be a global unicorn. And then we spent millions of dollars trying to solve problems that could be prevented if they were implementing things from day one. The same principles that I try to teach early stage startups.
Okay, great. So I understand when working with startups, you're really, instilling this into their heads that look, you need from day one to be sorted on the management front, on the not waiting until you're a unicorn to resolve the problem.
Yes. And when I evaluate founders in different programs for different investors, I usually evaluate the founders first based on their willing to improve, based on their problem-solving skills, some principles that I learned during my Lean management career. And then if they can implement it to their own business, to their own startups, the chance of failing is reducing.
Okay. I hope any startups listening to us are taking notes here. Efi, what is your prediction for the upcoming future of the Polish startup ecosystem? Obviously, you said a lot of positive things about what's going on now, but how do you see that ecosystem evolving in the coming years or, even decades? I suppose maybe that's a bit too far off, but at least in the coming years.
Well, some people are afraid of the crisis because of the Ukrainian war. First of all, I think the crisis is starting a little bit declining. So you can see some growth potential. That's first. I'm not afraid of the crisis because there will always be crises, always be wars, always be pandemic, different things, different times.
Coming up, yeah.
So I'm not afraid. I think the future is bright because a lot of things going on in different cities in Poland, not only in Warsaw, not only in Krakow, so Wrocław, Rzeszów, Katowice, different cities in Poland. The ecosystems are burning and hyping. So I think that the growth future is bright.
Okay, good. So you think in the coming years we'll just see more and better and more professional approach to how people are creating their startups and how they are developing.
Definitely, and I see foreign investors really interested in Poland,
that's true.
Foreign VCs interested in Poland, private investors, not only in tech, also in real estate, are interested in Poland, even if the prices are relatively high, relatively to, 5 years ago. So a lot of investors, a lot of business owners trying to find opportunities in Poland. The Ukrainian refugees, I think it's similar what happened in Israel in the 90s when Russian people came to Israel. It was a boost to the economy. So I think this is also going to happen. Tech talent from Ukraine, tech talent from Belarus. So I think that the market will grow and there is a lot of potential. This is the place to be.
And you'll still be here as well to watch it all happen.
Yes, of course. I will not replace the nice summer in Poland for anything, and for sure not miss the business opportunities.
Great. Well, Efi, thank you so much. It's great to get your inputs, but also, the contrast that you see as having been in the US and Israel and, various parts of the world before coming to Poland. So, that gives an extra stamp of approval with that global perspective in mind on your vision of what you see happening in Poland. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's been an honor to have you here today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you to our listeners. Tune in next time for Startup with Poland.